Hello everybody, this is Stonewall, and we are back in our modded Minecraft world. So, I did a little bit off camera. I went mining for a bit and got a little bit of resources here. A lot of copper, over a stack. I picked up some iron. I think that's in one of the furnaces. Yep. So I smelted up a little bit of that, mainly to get this bucket, and I went ahead and made me a chest piece, an iron sword. I made an iron pickaxe, and I actually already went through that whenever I went mining. So, I got quite a few oreberry bushes and a few essence berry bushes. It'll take them a little bit to grow. And I closed off my entrance. Now, I know it doesn't look the best. I'm in no way a very good builder. But it's definitely a lot safer than just having a wide open cave. So I did that, and today I think what we're going to work on is setting up our smeltery. So I got one bucket of lava. In a little bit I'm going to have to go down in the mines and get some more lava. So I'm thinking kind of on top of this hill above our base is where we're going to set it up for now. Get this tree out of the way. And this is part of the tree capitator mod you'll see in a second. I think it takes a little bit longer to break the tree, but it breaks the entire tree and not just part of it. So the smelter is a multi-block structure, and let's see here. So I'm probably going to put the bottom part of it right here. Alright, let's make some space for this. There we go. So this is the main construction blocks for it. It's seared bricks, and you saw last episode where I picked a lot of this stuff up from the village. Now I did get some more bricks and made 2 faucets, 2 drains, controller, and a tank. So let's see here. My home's kind of over that way, so I'll put the controller here. And let's put the drains on this side. Alright, and seared bricks around. You don't have to fill in the corners whenever you're building one of these. Like I just did. No, that's right. Here we go. And then a tank and bricks. And you can see the fire there. And if you notice, I've got quite a few extra bricks. So I'm going to go ahead and build this up. Now, if you look in the controller right now, you'll see there's 9 inventory slots. And this is for stuff you can melt down. I'll go ahead and put my lava bucket in there. So, as we build this structure a little bit taller, there's 18 slots. So, the taller you build it and the larger you make it, the more stuff you can melt down at a time. And there's the rain. I'm probably going to toggle that here in just a second. Now I could take these bricks and build a separate smeltery so I could have multiples. Because with the smeltery is some alloying. So if you if you melt down certain metals at the same time, then they'll combine together to make one, and you really can't undo it. Which is, well, you got to be careful what you put in there at the same time. So for now, I'm just going to use one of my casting tables and basins. I might add more drains in the future, but for right now, this will work. Alright, so the next thing is I'm going to go down in the caves, and I'll kind of show you the little area I was in. But first, I'm going to make a tank. I actually need one more piece of glass. So there, that'll do it. So I'm going to be using a, let's see, is that thermal, I said thermodynamics, that's for school. Thermal expansion, I think is right. let's see here. There it is. Yep. So the portable tank, and later on you can upgrade it to hold more. So the very most basic one is 1 piece of copper and then 4 pieces of glass. Okay, so I actually don't need more glass. From there, if you got some Invar, you can upgrade it to hold 32 buckets. And from there, hardened glass, you get 128 buckets. And then the top tier is 512 buckets. Alright, so I actually didn't need that. I can actually make 2. So I'm going to take some of these ore berries and put them to good use. Instead of smelting them into nuggets or something like that, I'll go ahead and make 2 of these tanks. There we go. Now, to actually be able to use these properly, I need this. And I need 1 piece of tin. I'll go ahead and do it this way. And wait on that for a second. There we go. So if I don't remember 100% sure if I break the portable tank if you lose the fluids or not, but I know if you pick it up with the crescent wrench or the crescent hammer, then you keep the fluid. So I'm gonna throw this extra pieces in here that I don't really need. I'm gonna keep the bucket on me because I need to use it to fill the tank. So yeah, actually let's take care of this real quick. Go. And I mainly do that for my frame rate. I don't have a very good PC, so. Alright, yep, right over here. So I made a little mining shaft down in here, just trying to get down to, I guess, about level 11 is where a lot of the big lava pools are. And I kind of ran into something a little bit bigger. And it lined up perfectly. I had to go around that one ore block because I didn't have the iron pickaxe anymore to be able to break it. But yeah, so right over here, is it through here? If I remember correctly, yep, right here. And there's a few more ore berries. Might as well pick them up. Yeah, and you got to be careful around them because they will damage you. So yeah, this is where I got some of my lava, that 1 bucket before, so we'll see how much is here. Hopefully it's enough to at least fill 1 tank and maybe the other one. One more bucket. There we go. And let's go ahead and fill this tank while we're down here. Oh, it went back to a different slot. So eventually what I'd like to do for one of these big lava pools is to get maybe the there it is. Maybe the pump from I think it's Buildcraft has a decent pump. And I can go ahead and come down here and pull it all up. I added, because I added extra utilities, that adds in the barrels. So a barrel only costs iron, but it's quite a bit of iron to a barrel. But it holds the same amount as a resonant portable tank, so 512 buckets, which is really nice. It's a whole lot cheaper than using Enderium to be able to move that much. So I'll probably do that at some point and might use that for a fuel source. But yeah, if you notice, I can't see quite as far. I lowered my render distance to try to get a little bit better frame rate. So right now I'm only at 10 chunks rendering. Alright, so let's go ahead up on the hill to our smeltery. So yeah, I need to get a decent farm or something going soon to get food going. There we go. So the smeltery only holds 4 buckets, and here's one of the neat things about these guys, is if you put them on top of each other, they'll pour into each other if they've got the same type of material. Alright, so we got a decent smeltery set up here. I'm going to grab some resources. Part of the reason I want to use the smeltery right now is until we get some machines going, which generally take quite a bit of iron, till we get those going, then this is probably the easiest way to double our ores, and probably the fastest way, as opposed to using a there is a grindstone in what is that, AE, Applied Energistics, but the thing about that is you have to sit there and babysit it. This, I can just throw this in here and it'll melt all of that down. Now the table you use to pour into molds and things, but the basin you pour into and it'll make it entire blocks at a time. So that's what I'm going to do to start with, and process some of this iron ore down. So for every 1 iron ore you put in there, you get 2 ingots. So if I put in 9 iron ore, then I should get 2 blocks out of it. So there's 72 ingots out of that. I'm going to get the rest of it melting down, and you pour it out. And it'll fill up, and in a couple seconds it'll harden. So I'm going to process through some of this and probably light up the area a little bit, and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so I processed all that iron down and got 11 blocks of it. So decent amount out of, I guess that was 50 ore that I put in there. But we've still got 1 stubborn ingot in here. Now, I poured everything out into the basin and made blocks out of it, but I had some of this iron from before. So what I had to do was, there's 2 different materials that you can use to make molds that you can pour liquids into. So the alright, I'm back. Dog was getting a little bit restless. So there's 2 different materials you can use to make molds. That's gold or aluminum brass. Aluminum brass is just an alloy of copper, which there's a little bit of it left in here, and aluminum. So both that and gold is, I guess in here they consider it a kind of soft material, but aluminum brass is actually a pretty wear resistant material. So anyways, you have to have 2 ingots of it to pour over this, and now I have an ingot mold here. So very similar to the stencils, or the things you make in the stencil table for tinkers. So now I can select this iron ingot, and by the way, to change the order of stuff in here, all you have to do is click on it, which in reality wouldn't make much sense because the heavier stuff is automatically going to settle to the bottom. But it's a in-game mechanic that works. Alright, so I've got 17 ingots and a few nuggets of copper left, so I've got enough to do a block. But I'm going to use this aluminum brass to make a few other things here. So if I go in here and let's see here, let's take a bit of stone and right here. So if I make a pickaxe head, and I can make a pickaxe mold and pour metals into that. So I can't take iron and put in here to make tools. I've got to be able to pour that into a mold. Alright, so let's go ahead and make a sword. Just the blade, real quick. And then I can take and make a tool rod and make a mold for that. Alright, so let's show you how this works real quick. So to take this out, you just right click it and then right click to lay that down. You can come over here, and I think copper, yep, copper's still on the bottom. So select your aluminum brass and you right click to pour it over it. And now I've got a tool rod cast. So I'll probably put a chest out here to, well, let's go ahead and do that. To hold all of the casts, because you can wind up with quite a few of them. Now in some versions you can use clay to make a temporary cast, but I'm not 100% sure if you can do that here. So I can just drop these off in here. Let's take our sword there and grab that block out. There's a sword blade cast. And these pieces I don't really need anymore after this. So here's that. And make a pickaxe head. Alright, so I'm just going to drop these in here for now. I could just throw them out, because they really don't do me much good. So I'm going to go grab some material to make these tools. So if you remember first episode, we came across a lot of steel. I'm going to make a few things out of steel. So let's see here. That'll work for now. Just a couple ingots. That's one thing that's kind of nice about Tinkers is whenever you make a pickaxe, it only requires one material, but you do have to melt it down. So if I hit U, it tells me how you can use this material. I can go over here and see, okay, I can make an ingot cast out of it, or I can melt it down into steel. So if I do the same thing here, I can use the steel to make tool rods, shovels, pickaxe, sword, just about anything in Tinkers. And steel is one of the few things that is actually a really high tier tool material. So I can use this to get some of the hardest ores that are in the nether especially, so that's cobalt and ardite. I'm pretty sure that's the case. A second. Yep, mining level cobalt, so I can mine cobalt with that. It also does a pretty good amount of damage. Now, later there are some other materials that will do more damage than this, but for right now it's really good. So let's use this last ingot to make 2 tool rods, because a tool rod is only half of an ingot worth, so you can make 2 out of 1 ingot. Alright, and throw that back in there. So I can look here, and all the steel is gone. So I've got 2 tool rods, a pickaxe head, and a sword blade. I've still got more than 2 blocks worth of steel in there. I can melt down the chest piece, and I can melt down the block and the other ingots later whenever I need some more tools. But for right now, this is really good. Alright, so let's go put together this pickaxe. And I might actually go on a little bit of a hunt here in a minute. Some more iron ore berries. Actually, let's do that now. So, one of the things that makes a decent material for Tinker's building, I'm going to just drop a bunch of stuff off in here. I'll organize this later, probably off camera. So yeah, one of the things that makes a good material is actually paper. Because, you know how I said before that adding materials is what you do instead of enchanting something, then it has a limited number of slots that you can add material for. So using paper actually increases the number by 1. Now it only works once, so if I add a second part made out of paper, then it wouldn't add anything to it. So what I'm going to look for now is a little bit of sugar cane. Alright, I finally found some sugar cane. And it's not even enough to make 1 thing of paper. So I'm probably going to keep looking. It's taken me a little while to find that, so I'll show you real quick. Let's see here. So I've kind of circled around this outside edge and come across. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep looking for a bit more. And I'll be back in a little bit. Looky there, found some more. Alright. So, I'm gonna go collect this. It's getting daylight soon. Hopefully those mobs will go away. But yeah, so again, only 2. So I'm gonna get back closer to home. So I've kind of gone in a big loop, so I'm not really that far away. But yeah, I'm gonna work my way back home, plant some of this, and let it start growing. Alright, so I just saw something that I might want to do real quick while I'm waiting on the sugarcane to grow. So this is a tree tap, and this is from Industrial Craft 2, or IC2 some people call it. And I think, yep, right over here are some rubber trees. So what you gotta do is look and see if you can find a yellow spot. So I might have to break a few leaves. It's kind of rare, but it is possible that they spawn without one. Either way, I just got a sapling so I can plant some more. Let's see here. There we go. One right here. So you take the tap and you right click on it. You know what I just saw? I feel like an idiot right now. But anyways, you get sticky resin. This resin you can cook into rubber and then cook it again and you get raw plastic. Now this was right here the whole time. That far away. And this is just a death marker, so my house is actually right there. So I went all that way, probably spent 15 minutes or more looking for sugarcane. And it was right here the whole time. Oh, well, that's the way it goes in Minecraft sometimes. Anyways, so plastic is used in some of the MFR, Mine Factory Reloaded machines. But Tinker's Construct also uses it as a material. So it has a pretty high durability and actually decent stats. Now where did that one go? That's the problem. It goes random places sometimes and gets stuck in the leaves. But yeah, it actually makes a decent material for some things. So limbs for like a crossbow and things like that, it's pretty good. It's not quite as good as some of the materials, but it's pretty easy to get. So you just gotta come out here, and those spots will respawn every now and then. So I'm gonna plant the rest of these out here. And now that I've got some more sugar cane, I'll go ahead and plant a little bit of this here. And I actually put down some of this sand. Actually, let's keep this. So let's go up here, and I'll show you why I want the paper. Alright, so one of the most useful things for paper, besides books of course, is to make things like tool bindings. Alright. And also, actually let's make a different one. Yeah, let's make that one. And hand guards, things like that. So tool bindings really don't affect the durability of tools very much. So let's see, where did I put those? All of these pieces. So what it does is it enables you to add more modifiers than you would have been able to before. So there I've got 4 modifiers remaining right here on the little pop-out menu right below mining level. And so if I didn't have the paper part, I had a different kind of part, it would only leave me 3. So while it's not extremely useful on pickaxes, it's pretty useful on swords, which allow you to add more levels of sharpness than you would have before. Alright, by the way, apparently one of the mods, Thermal Foundation, adds wooden shears. So I didn't have any iron on me whenever I came across some sheep. but had some wooden shears and got some wool. So I think one more thing before we finish this up is I'm going to make me a backpack. So let's see here what all mods are in here. So there's Project Red backpacks in here, and these are a little bit more irritating to try to make. It takes an entire stack of string to make a backpack from this mod. So I noticed another mod in here. Oh, it's 2 G's. There we go. Bagginses. I'm assuming that's a Lord of the Rings reference. But anyways, so I'm just going to make me tier 1 backpack, which is really easy. Let's see here if I've got, yep, I've got some string. And make a chest. So this will allow me to have a little bit more portable storage that I can carry with me. There we go. So there we go. I bring it up, and how many slots is that? That's 9, 15 slots. Yep, 15 slots. Now this is tier 1, and there's actually this upgrade that I can make. So if I take, now what was that? Was that wool or string? String. So I might have to wait for a little bit to do that. I know you can get string from wool, but you need some machines to do it. So anyway, maybe next episode I'll get some of these machines rolling. We'll get an upgrade for our backpack. Yeah, so this will help me whenever I'm out mining or adventuring or something like that. To be able to carry more things around without having to come back or leave a chest behind or something like that. So anyways, if there's something you'd like to see, one of the mods you want me to work on, just let me know. And this is Stonewall, signing off. I'll see you later.